Ben Tucker. I am the founding partner of Minerva, which is a consultancy focused on higher education, based in the UK but increasingly working globally.
So what is your expectation from this year's World Education Summit?
So it's very interesting to be here. This is my fourth or fifth trip to India. I come maybe every 6 to 9 months and meet people from higher education, and this is the first time I've attended the conference, so it's great to have so many people in one place to discuss these issues with.
So you do have your visits in India?
Many times, many times.
So talking of higher education, like in your opinion, what is the current scenario of the higher education system in India?
So really, I compare it with the UK, where in the UK we have 160 universities. Here you have nearly 1,000. And I think the thing I'd say is there isn't just one higher education sector in India, there are several. There isn't just one India, there are several Indias, I think. And what is amazing, though, is the hunger and ambition in the sector. It's fast moving, it's dynamic, and every time I come I discover new things and it's changed. And it seems to me that there's a huge opportunity for capacity building in the sector over the next 20 years or so. We're going to see India really become probably the leading economy in the world, I think. And the universities will play a very important part of that. And the question that I'm asking at the moment is how the universities here are going to develop the leadership within the institutions. And this is where I think there's a huge similarity with universities all over the world. When an academic becomes a leader, she or he goes through a process of learning how to manage, how do I have difficult conversations with staff, how do I budget, how do I bring accountability, and most importantly, how do I devise and deliver strategy for my university? And these are really exciting questions for people, and I'm really enjoying being here and discovering that there's a huge appetite for addressing these questions in the sector.
As you mentioned, leadership is one important factor that actually needs to be imbibed in the education institutions in India. So what are the initiatives you think the government and the educators will actually come together and initiate for this kind of a format where leadership actually brings out the experience for students, not just students, but also for the educators as well?
So I think the question of the relationship of government to higher education is a complex one. I think governments typically try to create regulatory systems. They try to measure everything in the hope that will make a contribution. And of course, if it's used right, assuring quality can lead to improvement. But I think government's role is really about creating the right environment for universities to thrive. So I think your government, in my view, should be focused on how do we create opportunities for universities to become distinctive from one another? How do we give them paths to be research universities if they want to? How do they change the approach to teaching and learning so that it's more focused on skills and application and employability? How do we enable them to kind of flourish and drive economic growth? And that's much less about policy than it is about creating the right context, I think.
So any plans to collaborate with institutions?
Very much so, and in fact have many conversations already started.
So what is the future of Indian education? Do you think like something lacks in the education system, or any certain initiative or planning is required?
So I think it's the case everywhere in every education system that there are hundreds of initiatives that could be tried. I think the one I'm most interested in is working with universities to develop and improve the leadership.
So only leadership, or any areas apart from that you're planning to actually venture?
So I think leadership is key. I think the other thing that is interest to me is obviously a proportion of the QS rankings are dependent upon the internationalization of faculty and students. And I think it will be interesting to see how many universities over the next 10 years or so in India become more ambitious about the way that they bring in international faculty and the way that they bring in international students into the country.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.